So I remember the exact moment when I got my US student visa. That was more than 15 years ago, and I was like, oh my god, it really sunk in that yes, I'm going to leave my family, I'm going to leave India and go into this completely strange land and build a life that I had no clue what's going to happen. But this is 2025 and things are so different now that I feel that getting the visa is not the end, it's actually just the beginning, and you have to take care of so many things still to ensure that you have that good start to your education in the US. So in this video I want to talk about 12 things that you should take care of right after getting your student visa so that you don't have to struggle later on. And this is updated for 2025 and there are some strange things in here, like 2024 में हम इसके बारे में सोचते भी नहीं थे, but you have to be extra cautious in 2025 because the world is much different place. Trump is creating such a chaos, so you have to be prepared for all those things. So here's a list of 12 things. Please do it to make sure that you have a smooth sailing into your first semester in US. The list is on the other side of this intro. Keep watching. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. If you're liking the videos, then please do subscribe to the channel. It helps me. And I'm Nishtha from Scholar Strategy. I've worked with thousands of students who went to study abroad, who are working abroad now, and who are building a thriving life there. And if you haven't checked our Inner Circle community yet, then please do that. I will leave the link in the description box below. Do that if you want to work more closely with me without paying the hefty consultation fee. Alright, so today we are talking about 12 things to do right after getting your student visa. And the first one is book your travel tickets early. The student season will begin soon and ticket prices can be very high in July, August and September. So your bet is to book the tickets early and get your good seat numbers as well, because otherwise they can become really tricky the more closer you get to your flying date. Good news is many airlines run some sort of student offers. For example, Air India used to give extra baggage to students who were flying out. So check all those offers and also do a comparison of different fares on a website like Skyscanner. There are many other tools available now which show you, like, for same flight route, what are the prices on different travel websites. So do all that. But the bonus tip from my side for 2025 is you should avoid transits through politically tense regions or countries. So stick to major airlines who are friendly terms with US right now. So I would definitely avoid Middle East region, nothing around Iran, etc. You don't want to be around there. And I think direct flights are your best bet. Second thing you should do is prep your digital footprint. Again, this is very new. Nobody even cared until 2024. But under Trump's re-election and tightened policies, your online activity is not only important for your visa interview right now, but it can also be checked again when you're trying to re-enter US after your vacations, etc. So what you have to do is remove any political, controversial or sensitive posts from your social media. I'm sure you have already done this for your visa interview, but still you have to keep doing this as long as you are staying in US now. Avoid sharing any sort of memes or jokes that can be misinterpreted. Don't post your visa or I-20 documents publicly in case they can get abused by somebody else. So I know it sounds all very dystopian, but students have been denied entry or harassed over year-old tweets, right? So you want to be safe than sorry. Third thing you want to do is back up all your documents. I advise creating a travel folder which has all your important documents like your visa, passport. I-20 is super crucial. You need it every time you re-enter US, okay? Your university admission letter, your degree certificates, and then also you want to have a copy of proof of accommodation to the place you are heading to in US, immunization documents and all those things. So what I would do is I would create a good set of these documents. One should be a printed folder, one should be a soft copy on your pen drive, and one should be stored somewhere online on cloud storage, etc. So be very careful with your documents. Next thing you want to do is book the housing carefully, and please avoid scams here, because I've heard of so many scam listings, especially in cities like New York City, where student was just like, you know, connecting with the somebody who said that they are landlord to a property, they would show the video of that property, etc. You would make the advance payment, and then the student reaches there and they'll figure out there is nothing like that, and that was completely a fake listing. Okay, so my advice is you should only trust listing from university housing portals. There are also many other startups doing housing accommodation, you can check them out, but again, be prudent with it. And if you have some senior or somebody who can go and check out the place before you actually send the money, that is advisable. I prefer apartment complexes which have good Google ratings, etc. And never send deposits without a signed lease, video tour, or if you can have somebody go and check out the place personally for you. If there is anything, if it smells fishy, it is fishy. Go by your gut feeling, don't sign up documents, don't send any money if anything looks off. Next is understand your rights at immigration. So in case you land in US and you are getting questioned harshly at the airport, please stay calm. You should be carrying your university letter and funding proof if you have any. Do not sign anything that you don't understand. Do not be threatened by them. If you're pulled aside, ask them that you want to discuss it with the DSO or the designated school official from your university. They should allow you to contact somebody like that. So there have been a few cases of students being deported or detained for minor misunderstandings or social media posts. So when you're entering US at that point of time, if anything goes like this, then what I'm saying is that you should be prepared, or you should know what are your rights. So maybe it's good to do some research online or talk to a legal counsel, etc., that if anything like this happens, what are your options and what should you be doing. So I'm not trying to scare you, I'm just saying that you should be prepared for all scenarios. Next is resign from work if you are employed somewhere. I would suggest inform your employer early. As soon as your visa is done, I think you should inform them, serve your notice period, and try to get out of it soon so that you can spend some good quality time with your friends and family. I know many people try to, they think that let me get 1 month extra salary, let me keep working till the last day. But in my personal opinion, this time is not going to come back. So make the most of it and spend some quality time with the people who really matter to you. 7th point is join the university WhatsApp and Discord groups. These are very, very important nowadays because this is where you can find your assistantship openings. I've had clients who found their TA ships on these university groups, right? So you want to join it ASAP. There would also be orientation tips. There might also be roommate ads on these things. So join it as soon as you have gotten your visa, finalized your university, and start making the most of these resources. Next is connect with seniors, and this is again very, very important. This is like step 1 of your networking in the US. And trust me, seniors are going to be your lifeline. If you have a good rapport with them, it can change your whole experience in US. It's a lonely place. You are going to this strange land. You want people on your side. And I mean, Indians really do try to help each other out. I landed at Urbana, Champaign, and it was such a strange land, and I had these huge bags with me. Some seniors came to pick me up from the airport, and because I had contacted them early on, that meant a lot on that first day when I had no means. I did not understand US system. They took my baggage, they dropped me to my apartment, they asked me if I needed anything else, they pointed me to some dinner places, they asked me if I want to join them, etc. That means a lot in your first week, otherwise you are going to feel really, really lonely. So do connect with your seniors before going and try to arrange a pickup for yourself. Indian students would be happy to do that. 9th is learn to cook. Some people might underestimate the importance of this, but let's be clear, right? Inflation is pretty high in US, and if you eat out every single day, it is going to drain your finances. So my advice is learn some 5 easy kind of dishes. You don't have to make dal roti every day, but learn some form of cooking, and also learn how to budget, right? So budget for your monthly groceries, etc., and try avoiding spending mindlessly on stuff you don't need, right? So carry some of the stuff that you can from India, definitely like pressure cooker, some kind of a basic like, you know, plates, mugs, etc., spoons, cutlery for one person that you can use just in that first week would be really, really helpful. 10th is immunization and health documents. So every US university has vaccine requirement. For example, let's take a look at the NYU requirements, right? Most of the universities will ask for MMR, hepatitis, TB clearance. So even if you have had these shots, you will need a doctor signed proof in English that you have to then upload on the university website. Also, my advice is do a full dental checkup, eye test and general physical test before leaving, because healthcare is crazy expensive in the US, and even for minor issues, if you have to run to the emergency rooms or if you're not getting the doctor appointment, it can be a very stressful experience. I don't want you to go through that. So get all your immunization certificates and requirements early on, get the health checkups done. Fingers crossed you don't have to visit the hospital when you are in US. Number 11 is learn how to drive and apply for an international driving permit. Most US towns require a car to function. I mean, unless you are in New York City or downtown San Francisco where you have the luxury of subway or metros, all other cities you would be either relying completely on the bus, but even sometimes you have to travel to these other towns, and if you know driving, that can be a big plus, because you can't keep taking Uber there. It's extremely expensive in US. Any sort of cab services are very expensive. So my advice is learn driving in India and then apply for IDP and carry your Indian license, because you can use it to rent cars, etc., until you get a US license. And number 12 is take a real break with your loved ones. I mean, I really mean it. This is like, you know, the most emotional part, and it's suddenly going to hit you just before you're about to fly out, that you're leaving this whole life that you have had until now in India, and you are building something from scratch in a foreign land. And it's both like exciting but also a scary experience, right? And this time is not going to come back. So I would say that just like do some good road trips with your friend, with your parents, spend some time with them, eat out, tell them you love them. Like, you know, it sounds very cheesy, but honestly it's so true. Don't keep rushing, don't keep preparing for job hunt till the last moment. Spend some good time with friends and family, because you want to nurture these connections, because distances impact all sort of relationships. You don't want distances to come in way of your, like, you know, such close relationships. So spend some quality time with them, visit your grandparents, hug your siblings. These are the memories which will help you survive those long and cold nights in the US when you're feeling absolutely homesick and lonely. So create enough memories for yourself. But trust me, everyone feels like that in first few months. So these connections that you nurture now will play a very strong role in how mentally stable you feel in next 2 years. So yes, spend time, energy into your relationships right now. So those were 12 tips from my side, and things to do immediately after your visa interview, so that you have a relatively good time transitioning to US later on. Let me know if I've missed anything. There could be, of course, like, you know, getting some foreign exchange currency or some forex cards that can help you, so you can always do that. But these are some other things that I thought of. Let me know what you think about this video in the comments below. What else do you want to see from me? And I will see you guys next week with a fresh new video. Until then, take care. Bye.